Because he took it to another shop. They couldn't figure it out. He said, take care of my U-joints for me. I know, well, I'm looking at it here. It's got a little bit more play than what I would like. Oh yeah, those U-joints are shot. Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. It bit me. I didn't see the crack in that joint down there and how it wasn't lined up. So right where that video ended, I bapped it one more time, and that damn thing shot through that collar. It jolted left and shot through the collar and split apart in all these pieces. And when it just started to break the other side of the flange, it went poof and turned into powder, and one of the chunks hit the table and came back and caught me right in the damn cheek. Right on my cheekbone. I should have been wearing my face shield.
Nasty schmuck. All over in the harness, in the channels. Was causing a line. So I got the floor all scrubbed out and vacuumed out. I got all the new harness and stuff put back in, ran through the firewall, ran around the back here, ran across the middle, up there, up into the headliner where the airbags are for the curtain airbags, up there, up the back channel.
Interior and everything is all back in. Dash and everything is working where it wasn't working before. I've got a hood switch coming because the hood ajar, the door open, the full-size Bronco. This customer went out to see a client of his, and the client hires somebody to go through the lot and make sure the vehicles that are in the lot are supposed to be there. They have parking passes, etc., etc. He didn't have a parking pass. The client forgot to give him one, and the tow company came and towed his vehicle. The client called the tow company immediately and said, bring the vehicle back. I forgot to give him a parking pass. So they brought the vehicle back and dropped it off. This customer went out to his vehicle, started the vehicle up, and had all kinds of advanced track lights and ABS lights and everything else on the dash. Took him a little bit of driving, I don't know, a mile or less for all the lights to clear and it to see an ABS signal and reset everything. Now the guy comes into the dealership and his concern is as such. Do the oil change. Check the 22S44 child door lock feature in the back. Make sure it actually works. It does work. Customer states when coming to a almost complete stop, the vehicle starts lurching. Check and advise. Okay. Another concern. Customer states the following issue. When making parking lot maneuvers, the vehicle will shake, felt most in steering wheel when concern occurs. Check and advise. So I go out to the parking lot and I'm looking at the vehicle and I see a red flag right away. Why is the vehicle in 4 auto on dry pavement? The vehicle is not supposed to be in 4 auto when driving around on dry pavement. Why do I say this? Let's go into the owner's manual here. 4-wheel drive, well, that's not it. 4-wheel drive precautions. Do not become overconfident in the ability of 4-wheel drive vehicles. Although a 4-wheel drive vehicle may accelerate better than 2-wheel drive in low traction situations, it won't stop any faster than 2-wheel drive. Always drive at safe speed. Vehicles with a higher center of gravity, utility and 4-wheel drive vehicles handle differently than vehicles with lower center of gravity. Avoid sharp turns, excessive speed, abrupt stopping in these vehicles. Failure to drive cautiously increase the risk of losing control of your vehicle rollover, and personal injury and death. 4-wheel drive limitations. Do not use 4-wheel drive high or 4-wheel drive low mode on dry, hard surface roads. 4-wheel drive auto engages 4 high and 4 low based on situations automatically, right? Or 4 high automatically. 4-wheel drive high or 4-wheel drive low mode is only for use consistently with slippery surfaces and loose surfaces. Use 4-wheel drive low mode on these surfaces could cause some noise such as occasional clunks, but should not damage the drive components. 4 vehicles with electronic shift on a fly transfer case, the driveline could become mechanically blocked when attempting to shift out of four-wheel drive mode on dry, hard surface roads. Note, when your vehicle comes with 4x4 part-time schedule engagement transfer case and you are transitioning from consistently loose or slippery surfaces, be sure the four-wheel drive system is not mechanically blocked once you are on dry, hard surface roads in two-wheel drive high. Note, in certain scenarios where the four-wheel drive system has difficulty engaging, a to engage four-wheel drive slow to 3 mile an hour or to engage 4x4 slow to 5 kilometer an hour message could appear in the instrument cluster. You can also see this message when engaging the four-wheel drive system in extreme cold climates at the beginning of the drive cycle. Once the driveline warms up, shifting to four-wheel drive can resume as normal. Operating four-wheel drive with a spare or mismatched tire, you guys can read that on your own. Point here is, this thing clearly states this vehicle does not need to be in four-wheel drive when you're on dry, non-slippery pavement, such as today. It's 86 degrees outside, there's no rain, it's dry, everything's clear. This vehicle should not be in 4A at all if you are driving this vehicle. You can feel a difference. There's mechanical binding whenever you go in real slow parking lot maneuvers. You can actually feel the clutch pack in the transfer case, and you can feel it trying to engage four-wheel drive whenever you're turning and it sees one wheel slip more than the other. Not a good idea to put this in 4A. Here's the piston out of the engine. It's got a lot of coking, a lot of carbon buildup. The oil control ring is really bad. A lot of the passages through it are completely plugged up with slime. This thing is not doing good at all. And yeah, it's got an oil jet on the bottom. That's why you see one side is clean and the other side is dirty. There's the clean side. The other side is the dirty side. It would have been nice if they would have put an oil jet on both sides so they could have kept that cylinder evenly cooled on both sides instead of one, and just relying on heat transfer or relying on the cool side to pull from the hot side. This piston was in really bad shape at 18,000 miles and only being a couple years old, and that's, you know, all comes down to lack of maintenance and engine design. These are very dirty engines. They need to be serviced more often. A lot of people need to realize these EcoBoost engines, that's exactly what they are. They're just literally dirty engines. And this is me being stupid. I tried to take a screenshot while I was doing the video, so that's what you're seeing here. And that's me kind of capturing the piston itself so I could actually show you guys and zoom in on what it exactly looks like. And I'll show you the picture right now. Oh, I'm gonna hold the wheel. Towards me, right? After the last oil change, something happened to where the vehicle just disabled. That whatever happened with the oil change is more than likely the result of why the vehicle won't start. Just crank don't start, crank don't start. I come over to the engine and I'm checking the engine and I'm feeling all these holes in it, and I'm like, what the heck is this stuff all over the holes? It's just sprayed all over the place. And then I'm looking down the front of the engine and I see how wet everything is down inside here. There's diesel all over the bottom of the engine down here in the plastic. You can see it puddled down there, kind of the shinies. And then I get to looking around the engine here and I said, wait a second, what is this fitting over here? I see something here. This is the main feed line that goes to the high pressure rail right here. So it goes up here and comes in and feeds the high pressure rail for the fuel system. It actually came off of the pump. And when you look down inside here, there's no threads left. See if I can get a good spot where I can show you. All the threads are gone. So when you go to tighten this back up on the pump, let me see if I can. My finger right here is touching where the pump nipple is. They won't screw under. So hold on. All right, I'm going to give you 2 reasons. This is a video that went pretty viral of mine on my other channel, and then it's actually pretty popular in this one. Why your 2011 to 2014, 2015, depending on when they made your truck, F150 won't start. The number 1 reason, which doesn't seem to be so much the number 1 reason anymore, is if you pop the hood, lift this cover, you got your big box or your relays here. You got a set of big box fuses here, and you got your smaller fuses here. This 20 amp fuse is your fuel pump fuse. This fuse is the number 1 reason this truck won't start, because it blows out. And there's a relocation kit where they have you pull the top of this fuse box up and actually take some wires and relocate it up here to one of these spots. It's a relocation kit that most people don't do. What they do is they just rod those ports, they clean them out, and they just stick another 20 amp fuse in there, and they get another 20-30,000 miles out of it before it blows again. That's Ford's fix for it. They relocate this fuse to one of these spots up here. You just pick an open spot and you reroute those wires up here to a box fuse, and you get bigger wire ends. So this is the fuel pump fuse, this 20 amp fuse, which is fuse 27. The second reason, go to your passenger door, open it. Okay, that won't work then. I didn't realize that door was locked. What do people like to do when they go to get in the truck? They go like this, they grab the handle here, and what's one of the first things that they do is they'll step and they'll put their foot towards that plastic, or when they step in, they'll get in, and then when they get over, they'll take their foot and they'll push right here. And when they push right here, what happens is you pull this plastic panel off. This connector right here, this big connector right here, it comes undone. They'll push on this plastic, they'll push on the plastic right here, and they'll push this tab on this connector, and it'll come out like that. It'll look like this when you open the box, because they push on this plastic all the time. What you got to do is you got to pull it back in, and you can even take a zip tie and run it around that, up around the wires, and zip tie this latch back. It's the number 1 and number 2 problem for this, because what that does is that'll kill power to your dash and everything, or it'll be such a light connection, when you go to stick the key in the dash, it'll start fluttering. And then you go to turn it, it'll tick, tick, tick. The lights will flutter, or sometimes you'll hear the AC system fluttering and stuff like that. Come over here and check that panel. That's the number 1 and number 2 reason why the 2011 12